So some other movies came out this month.
Yeah.
Probably a nostalgic favorite for all of us, which is the DuckTales movie,
Ooh,
Treasure
we
of the
almost
Lost Lamp. How does everybody feel about that film?
Have we all seen it?
I don't remember it. If I've seen it.
It's one of my favorites.
We should have rewatched that.
I don't recall.
That should have been the
Oh,
focus of this episode.
But I love DuckTales, so it's really good.
we should have done that instead of Air America. Apparently,
Yeah, because now that they just canceled the show, it would have been apropos.
Oh,
it's true.
But yeah, I always liked the movie. I thought it actually did pretty well because when I saw it in the theaters, it was packed. But
I saw
it has like a cult following. So
I saw it going through Air America's box office. It came in 8th the week before, so it didn't do amazingly. But it's probably better than other films of its caliber because all you really have right now are the Disney films. They're starting to get the new Disney Renaissance.
right.
There's much else. There's Don, what's his face, with All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Oh yeah.
Don Bluth.
Don Bluth, yeah. So there's really
like
two of them. So
honestly, in retrospect, it looks like a movie that would probably be VOD or direct-to-video now.
Yeah, for sure. But it was trying to capitalize on the Disney afternoon shows because this is the peak. I think DuckTales starts in 87 or 88. And then you got Chip and Dale the next year, then Darkwing Duck, then Tailspin, and each of them came out in a consecutive year. Tailspin actually comes out in September, so hadn't even debuted yet at this point. And so I think they're trying to capitalize. This is when DuckTales was peaking on Disney Afternoon. So then they'll churn out all the repeats at the same time, and then for the next few years, you're just watching 2 to 3 seasons of these 4 shows.
Right.
So I think this is the peak of that stuff, and I don't think they minded getting a lower box office, even if it meant, 8th place.
Right. I guess it got the word out.
Yeah, I think it's a good movie.
There's good publicity, I guess, for their other shows.
Yeah, I remember it being a big deal, but I was also 4, so
I was a big fan when I saw it in the theaters. So
yeah.
Also, Flatliners came out.
This same week, I believe. This got number 1 that week with about like 10, 11 million.
Yeah. I always found it to be a little too style over substance for my taste. I always thought a remake would be good, and then we got the remake and it was worse somehow.
It's like they're trying to go for a Lost Boys vibe, but like with people.
Yeah, it's got a lot of people from the Brat Pack.
Yeah.
It's got Kiefer Sutherland, Oliver Platt, Julia Roberts, Kevin Bacon, and I'm probably missing somebody. But
those are the ones I
Joel Schumacher film, so it looks like an MTV music video at times.
Do you like it?
Not really.
Yeah.
I'm lukewarm on it.
I always wanted to see it.
But it's got a great premise.
Yeah, the premise is good.
Mm-hmm.
The Exorcist 3 came out.
I've always wanted to see this too. This sounds like the best one other than the first.
Right. Yeah. It's the second best one in the franchise. Not that that's saying much, but
well, I heard it got a little campy because like they did all the horror stuff in the first movie, so like the Exorcist movies weren't at that point not as scary because they had done the same stuff. So like they got a little campier with the third one, from what I hear. I've never seen the third one.
Not really. There's a jump scare that's like legendary amongst horror fans.
I've seen that one, and it scares me just isolated for that scene.
Oh, the editing is perfect in it. Yeah.
Well, maybe I should see it.
Yeah,
because like I haven't.
Of the other Exorcist movies, it's the one I want to see.
Yeah, the dialogue is sumptuous, and then you got George C. Scott. He's always good in horror movies. He never slums. Yeah, between this and The Changeling, like he was really good at choosing horror movies. We got My Blue Heaven, which is a weird movie because it's a Nora Ephron movie. She wrote it, directed by Herbert Ross, and it's based on the same source material as Goodfellas.
What?
So basically, Steve Martin is playing the Henry Hill character in Witness Protection, but it's a comedy. It's a farce.
And it comes out before Goodfellas does later this year.
Right.
That's wild.
I like it.
Huh.
It's very frothy and fun. But it's weird to think that that's the same source material that Mitch Pileggi's book was. Darkman came out this month. Sam Raimi's first attempt at a comic book movie, probably his best in my opinion. I love
Hey.
Darkman. I think he peaked with this. Not Spider-Man 3, contrary to what Tristan thinks.
It's his best film.
Okay. Yeah, Darkman is got a lot of gallows humor, but it's very tongue-in-cheek. It's fun. First early action movie by Liam Neeson. Francis McDormand's in it, so he's capitalizing a little bit on his Coen Brothers affiliations.
Yeah.
But has anybody else seen Darkman?
I've seen the beginning where he becomes Darkman,
Okay.
but that's it. So I've watched like the first 20 minutes.
Yeah, it's very stylish, pretty ultra violent too.
Yeah, I'd like to see the rest.
Pump Up the Volume came out.
I've seen scenes of that.
It's basically Christian Slater as a as a monologist, kind of like Eric Bogosian in talk radio if he was in high school.
Really?
Only it comes off very smug and obnoxious.
Hmm.
I'm not a fan of this. Wild at Heart came out.
Oh, the Nick Cage
David Lynch.
and Laura Dern.
Right. I find Willem Dafoe so repugnant in the movie that it's hard for me to enjoy.
Whoa, Billy.
Yeah, he's so repulsive, his role in the movie, and he lingers on it for so long that I can't really enjoy this movie.
Interesting. It's one of the few Lynch films I haven't seen, so I gotta get in on that.
Yeah.
Basically,
Because you would think Nick Cage, David Lynch, perfect for one another.
and Laura Dern's his muse, so
Right. And she is sexy in the movie.
Laura Dern.
mhm.
The Witches came out,
Hey,
which was just remade.
yeah. Have you seen the remake, Jeff?
I have not yet. No.
On HBO.
It's not bad.
Don't bother. Oh,
Far
you like it?
I
inferior.
said it's not bad.
We never talked about
Okay.
it. We watched it in like a fever dream.
Yeah, no, well, Jeff's got kids. They'll enjoy it.
Yeah, they would probably.
Yeah,
like
they'll because they won't be disappointed because they don't have something better to reference.
Right.
The newer one is definitely more family friendly. That's for sure.
Yeah.
The older ones scared me as a kid. The makeup is exceptional, and Angelica Houston's giving like a tour de force performance. It's
Hmm.
amazing. Men at Work came out, which is it's a guilty pleasure of mine. It's Charlie Sheen and Emilio Estevez. They're not playing brothers though; they're just best friends.
Yeah.
Really?
They play garbage men, and they get involved in some political conspiracy involving a dead politician trying to dispose of the body. But the person who stands out the most in the movie is Keith David, who people might know as the voice of Spawn. He's been in some other
Goliath.
things. And The Thing. He's in The Thing. But he has some priceless lines throughout the whole movie. It's a funny movie. They got good chemistry. They should do more things together, those two brothers.
We probably should have done that instead of Air America.
Yeah, well, none of us had seen Air America, so it was a good.
You were
I
excited.
haven't seen that other one either.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Now we got the bottom of the barrel. We're getting
Oh,
to
geez,
here.
that wasn't the bottom.
No. So speaking of Emilio Estevez, Young Guns 2 came out, which is an adequate sequel, except for the old age makeup makes little big man look like a prosthetic marvel. God, the wraparound scenes with him in the makeup look so bad.
Mhm.
A movie that Tristan's seen, Metropolitan, came out.
Yeah.
It's a very didactic, dry, not very interesting art house film.
What's his name? The guy that did it?
Whit Stillman.
Yeah, he's infamous on the indie scene as being like.
He's like a Jim Jarmusch if he didn't have like a deadpan sense of humor.
Yeah, it's like a very serious version of that.
Yeah.
But I think, people think it's funny because it's very wry, but it's almost too wry.
Yeah.
It's like eating just toast, no butter.
Yeah, I laughed maybe a couple of times at the beginning, but after that, it becomes like a satire in the bourgeoisie, and it's not exactly that.
He does much better later with his other films, like that Love and Friendship that Kate Beckinsale's in a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
And Last Days of Disco, which is
That's much better.
contemplation on the changing of the guard of, how youthful generations pass along, basically the same idea of what they want, because disco was dying, but the club scene was still there. So what replaces it? And why can't we still enjoy ourselves in our 30s?
Right.
We don't die at 25.
Mo Better Blues, Spike Lee movie with Denzel Washington playing a jazz musician. I watched it. It's a little too protracted. It's a little too long, and the karmic plot twists are very predictable. Also, Spike Lee gives himself a big supporting role, and he's no actor, which we'll see in Malcolm X later on.
Oh, I want to watch that. I've never seen.
Oh,
Malcolm
Spike
X.
Lee was in that?
In Malcolm X?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember that. That's weird.
Taking Care of Business, which, speaking of James Belushi,
about this.
weird thing about this movie, written by Jill Mazursky, Paul Mazursky's daughter, and J.J. Abrams.
Oh.
His first project out of school. It's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
It's a high concept movie, and it's very contrived. James Belushi plays this ex-con in the nicest prison I've ever seen. Everybody's so goddamn friendly. This is like the nicest prison out of probably Paddington 2.
Oh man, I gotta see this.
And this is supposed to be realistic somehow. But he needs to get out because he wants to see the Cubs win the World Series, which, again, fictional.
You can wait
So,
a couple decades.
But they won't let him out a day ahead of time, because he's just won tickets. So they had to stage a coup at the prison so he can get out. Then, through happenstance, he gets the filofax of this executive played by Charles Grodin. He assumes his identity. Hijinks supposedly ensue. It's terrible.
It sounds like a guilty pleasure.
It's not. You can watch it if you want. Delta Force 2, which Canon got a hold of Chuck Norris pretty early on, so this is them capitalizing on the original, which is one of the better Chuck Norris movies, mostly for the cast too, because it's him, Lee Marvin, and the villain is Robert Forster. Oh, it's actually based on a real life event where this airline was taken over by terrorists. It's actually a pretty well done movie. This is not, but Billy Drago plays the villain, since you were talking about the Untouchables. And he's so slimy and hissable. He's like a great villain, but I wish he was in a better movie because the action scenes are very pedestrian. And then the movie I was most looking forward to, which I watched, was After Dark, My Sweet, which is a crime drama, neo-noir, with Jason Patrick, Bruce Dern, and sorry, the name escapes me of who the girl is, but it's based on a novel by Jim Thompson, who did Killer Inside Me, if anybody saw that.
Oh yeah, that's his name.
Yeah, so he does like really hard-boiled, cynical noir movies. This one has a great twist in the last 2 minutes, but to get there is a slog. And Jason Patrick is a little too mannered for my taste. He almost plays the character like an idiot savant, which I think this is the wrong approach for the movie. So he's a little miscast.
A little bit like Motherless Brooklyn.
Yeah. Well, no, I thought he did a good job in Motherless Brooklyn. So after all that, let's get the poster.
Jeff, you awake?
Oh yeah, I'm good.
You ready?
Sorry, that was a long one.
I was.
There are a lot of movies in August.
Stupid.
All right, here you go, buddy. Describe the poster.
Okay. So we've got Jack Nicholson, clearly as he's named at the top, in a white suit, smoking a cigarette, It's a very noir looking thing. He's standing in front of a purple Carmen San Diego and some other just blue looking dude with a snub nose.
This is an Avatar, mind you.
Was that?
It's not Avatar. Mind you.
Okay, it's not. You had me going for a second.
This is the
Yeah.
early Na'vi.
It's very, I don't know, it's artistic. It looks like a Drew Struzan type sketch. And there's another cigarette trail coming from Purple Carmen San Diego.
Remember when people could smoke in movies?
And posters.
Remember when it became such a part of the artistic integrity of the movie?
Yeah.
Just looking at this, I can already tell that Jack Nicholson is very airbrushed because he's a lot heavier in the movie.
Yeah. Well, he's 100% drawn in this one, so
Yeah.
everybody's airbrushed.
True.
Okay. So yeah,
What is
so there's that.
Let me ask you this: what would you call this?
He's never getting this title.
Joker. No. It's just a prequel to him being that.
That would explain the purple.
Yeah.
Right? Purple,
Now-
gangster. I mean, come on.
Let me ask you a second question. What does this remind you of, given that it's Jack Nicholson?
It actually oddly reminds me of like Casablanca, like a send up of that. Just stylistically.
What about something in Jack Nicholson's catalog of movies?
The Shining. I'm actually not that familiar with his entire body of work.
Okay.
Something's gotta give again. I don't know.
Yeah, that's Keanu in the background.
Right. Okay. So I would call this Crimes, the movie.
Crimes the movie.
See, this was a little difficult because unless you know Jack and you know what his probably most famous film is, I don't know that you would ever.
Probably the director's most famous film.
Yeah, and you for sure would never get the title just from the poster. So I'm just going to
Yeah,
give that. And obviously, I blurred out a little bit of the phrasing, but
Taglines. Okay. So taglines. They say money makes the world go round, but sex was invented before money.
Such a dumb tagline.
I
So
also revealed the title. I knew you would never.
it's
get
okay.
it.
I didn't look at it. I'm literally covering it with my hand right now because I want to play fair. Okay. So synopsis.
Mhm.
He's trying to run a free range brothel. I say free range because it's more of a co-op than an actual.
What is this, Joe Pesci's Love Ranch?
I thought that's what he was describing at first.
Yeah,
Okay, I mean,
you can look at the title now.
He's just
It
a
has
gang.
nothing to do with the synopsis. So.
no,
Yeah, you're never gonna get it from
the
the
two
title.
Jakes.
Yeah, how would you ever know?
I mean, unless I knew about his character.
You know what this is?
No,
A sequel to Chinatown.
really.
Mm-hmm. Funny enough, I showed this poster to Jimmy right before we got onto the Zoom, and he's like, "What is this, Chinatown?"
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So Jimmy actually won poster book before we did it,
Well, technically,
and he never heard of the two Jakes. He didn't
Yeah.
know there was a sequel. So
like I instantly when he told me, he's like, "Yeah, no, it's a sequel to Chinatown." I was like, "What did it flop?" And he was like,
you never heard of it, have
"Yeah, I
you?
never heard of it." So clearly, yeah,
Yeah,
it
I've never
flopped.
seen Chinatown. So,
So I don't know what this is about anyway. So why don't you give us the synopsis, Corey?
Okay, so you know how when Chinatown was all about the water. Everybody had to control the water. Well, this was going to be a proposed second leg of a trilogy around the Jake Gittes character. Which also, do you see a scar on his nose? Because I don't.
Interesting.
But anyway, this is going to be the second part. This was going to be about land development deal.
Mhm.
And the other Jake, it's actually a couple subplots interwoven into one another. The other Jake is actually played by Harvey Keitel, who suspects that his wife's having an affair.
Is
So
that
he
who the blue
hires
guy
Jake
is?
Giddies. That's Madeline Stowe, actually, the woman back there. And I
Okay.
think that's probably Harvey Keitel.
Okay.
And then the third one was in development but this did so badly that they dropped that third one because they were going to try to do a new Jake Giddy's adventure in each decade.
Okay.
But since the second one did so poorly, they dropped that. Actually, this one's directed by Jack Nicholson himself.
Really?
Right.
Oh, well, there's your problem.
Yeah.
You know what? You're right because he's not a great director.
This poster looks amazing.
It's probably
Yeah,
the best.
that's
about
right.
it.
The poster's way better than the movie.
Yeah.
I don't need to see the movie. I got the poster.
Ah, well. Fair enough.
Cool.
Speaking of Robert Downey, I was going to propose to you because initially when we were trying to develop this version of the podcast, we were thinking, well, what movie came out this week? We'll talk about that. And I kept using the example of Doolittle because it's the movie that broke Corey. And so we would have talked about maybe having, what's your favorite Robert Downey Jr.
I just got PTSD, bro.
Yeah. So is Doolittle your favorite Robert Downey Jr. film?
God.
Anyway, what is all of our favorite Robert Downey Jr. films?
Kiss Kiss Bang Bang's up there.
That's what I was going to go with.
Starring, right? We're not doing
Anything they're in.
I like Back to School.
Yeah. Is he barely in that?
He's a supporting character. He's like his son's best friend.
That's fine.
But probably Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. Yeah.
Yeah, Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is probably his best film.
Yeah.
The first thing that popped in mind was my Tropic Thunder.
I thought he was gonna say Chaplin.
Yeah. Chaplin's great. I just like
So I haven't
Kiss
seen
Bang
it.
Bang so much. Like I'll rewatch Kiss Kiss Bang Bang a lot. That's a good Christmas film. We should be
It's
watching
Shane
that.
Black. It's Christmas.
Yeah.
time.
Yeah. What about you, Jeff?
I mean, off the bat, I'm gonna have to go with Iron Man. The first one.
That's not a bad choice.
Yeah, that's not surprising. You made your own chess thing.
I did. I made a.
Oh wow.
I made an arc reactor thing based off of stills from the trailer because the movie hadn't come out yet before that Comic-Con. And so I made it like, it was like a little PVC end cap that I had cut holes in and put LED things. So it looked great shining through the shirt, but if you actually looked at it in person, it's like, what is that?
Yeah, it was really impressive for
Yeah.
not really having seen the film.
Yeah.
I got underrated Robert Downey.
Yeah, what's that?
Scanner Darkly.
Well, that's good. Yeah.
A lot.
I was going to bring up, I kind of mentioned earlier in the film, he had just come off of Chances Are. I like that film. I rewatched it recently. It is uncomfortable. It's basically this.
It's like Prelude to a Kiss in a way, but not as
Yeah.
good.
Yeah. This guy grows up and he's like the reincarnation of these four people. It's his.
It's her ex-husband.
It's her ex-husband, Sybil Shepherd, right?
Yeah.
And he eventually finds his way into a relationship with her daughter, who is born the same night he dies. So he's basically sleeping with his own daughter.
Cringe
The
bait.
reincarnation of himself. It's very romantic. But then when you really
Romantic.
think about the implications.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's the right word for that.
Meanwhile, he's followed around by four ghosts who also died in the bus crash that the father died in, including Charles Grodin and who are the other ones? There's.
No. You're thinking of a totally different movie.
Am I combining it with?
Yeah, you're
Heart
thinking
and
of
Souls?
You're thinking of Hearts and Souls. You're thinking of a
Oh,
totally
Heart-
different movie.
I like both of those films.
That's
Also-
funny that you did that though.
The Soloist
Oh, I never
That's
saw
a
it.
good one.
is a good one, and it was funny because one of my college professors had written and directed. I'd say it's about just a homeless virtuoso in New York City, and like the reporter that befriends him and like tells his story. And one of my professors had written and directed the same story a few years earlier, but it was like shelved for years, and this one was released before that one even came out. So when it came out 12 years later, everyone was like, "Oh, it's just a knockoff of The Soloist." And he's like, "No, man."
Well,
But
like Tristan when
it was
Tristan was
actually-
trying
it
to
was
develop
very-
the
It was about as heartwarming
Alamo.
as I'll ever see Robert Downey Jr. get. Yeah, it was a good movie.
It's true.
It's
So
sorry,
what-
it got greenlit because it had Jamie Foxx and Robert Downey Jr., two huge stars. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry, but
Sorry about that.
No,
uh,
this one had
Nobody a fan of
it had one of the Wayans brothers and Christian Camargo.
oh, that movie.
Yeah.
Interesting.
nobody's a fan of the Shaggy Dog.
Shaggy DA.
No, he's a Shaggy Dog.
Is Shaggy Dog?
He's a
Oh,
DA in it, but it's the Shaggy Dog.
I just saw that
Tim
poster and my nightmares were rekindled.
Oh, you didn't want to see a dog with Tim Allen eyes?
Yeah.
Was that creepy or something?
So I figured along the same line, since it's a two-hander. Favorite Mel movie, favorite Mel Gibson. You knew this was coming.
I know, but it's so hard.
You suggested it.
I know.
What
The Patriot.
It's a
Patriot's
toss-up
good.
between We Were Soldiers and Braveheart.
Good choices.
Yeah.
Good choices. Trying to think of an underrated Mel movie.
Why's it got to be one?
He just got two.
Yeah, I
Go
just got two.
ahead.
You could get
Okay, fair enough. All right, Lethal Weapon and Payback.
That's a good one.
Has anyone seen Fat Man?
I have.
Yeah, what do you think?
I like it a lot. It's not an action movie though.
Okay.
It's a dark comedy. So if you're going in with that expectation, you'll like it a lot. And Mel knocks it out of the park. In fact, Mel's got another movie coming out next year that I recommended to Tristan that he check out. I don't know if he did or not, but it's fantastic. It's called Boss Level.
I thought that was this year. That's not out yet?
No. I got a screener.
Ah.
I changed my answer. My absolute favorite Mel Gibson movie is Chicken Run.
That's a good movie too.
It is.
That's a good one.
Yeah, that is a good one.
Well, along the same lines, can I go with Pocahontas? I love his voice work.
What?
I like Pocahontas. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite Mel.
You like Lethal Weapon?
Yeah, I'd go with Lethal Weapon. I'm trying to think of other things. I've always wanted to see Gallipoli. I feel like that would be one of my favorites once I finally do, because I love what I've heard about the movie.
Yeah, no,
You've seen
ditto.
it, right?
No, I haven't seen it.
You
I've
haven't
never
seen
seen
it?
Gallipoli.
We'll watch it. We'll get back
Yeah,
to you.
I've been meaning to. I keep
Yeah.
on forgetting that's the thing.
Because I keep
Obviously,
thinking,
Braveheart.
yeah, Braveheart's good.
Dread Cross Concrete's really good.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of any others that I'm like off the top of my head. That
Oh, Bloodfather is an underrated one. It's a great movie.
Yeah. Oh, what was the one that was the remake of the Bob Peck thing? I like The Edge of Darkness.
Yeah, that was good.
Hey.
He was uncredited in Casper.
Oh god,
I forgot about that.
it's terrible.
Yeah. Yeah, I might go with Edge of Darkness.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Anything where he's getting revenge
Yeah.
is usually pretty good.
He's
Mel on a rampage is always good.
Yeah.
Oh right, Mad Max.
Yeah.
See, it's tough. Like the Road Warrior is a great movie too.
I don't like Mad Max.
The first one or all of them?
First one.
Okay.
They
No,
get
the
better.
first one's not that great.
I think I fell asleep is all it is. I don't think
Road
it's a
Warrior's
bad one.
the best one in the franchise.
I think Mad Max is slow, and each of them picks up. I haven't seen the third one, so I can't say that's better or anything. but,
Mad
like,
Max
Road
kind of
Warrior-
feels like a pilot
Yeah,
to a great
Okay.
series.
I'm glad you agree. The Road Warrior is the
Yeah,
better
it
version
does.
of Mad Max. Yeah. But I like the newest Mad Max better because I think he finally honed what he wanted to do with the franchise. And no offense to Mel, I don't think what's his face is better, but
Oh, Tom Hardy.
Tom Hardy. I think he's just a different version of Max. You know,
Yeah.
it's Charlize's film, so
Anybody a fan of Maverick?
Maverick. There we go. There's a good one.
Yeah.
I just completely blanked. I should have had his filmography up.
No, this is better. That way you like
Yeah.
it jogs up.
There's too many great ones. It's hard.
The Beaver.
I
Oh,
never saw that.
We Were Soldiers is great. Speaking of Vietnam.
Yeah,
That's what he
that's
said,
what
yeah.
I said. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Because like one of the things I remember, like they had the original Colonel
Mhm.
on set, and like because he was on set, like some of the explosions like that happened during the making of the film, he actually kind of like reverted back to Vietnam, and like he took a step back. He went to go grab his pistol. And was like, oh wait, this is like 2000 something. I'm not in Vietnam right now.
I think I say he scaled
Like
up into
he
a tree
flashback.
and he was like, Charlie's up here. Charlie's here. And they shot some of the extras.
Oh yeah, I know that. I was like, yeah, you want to just pew pew.
There we go. The one that I forgot about was The Patriot.
Oh yeah.
I knew
You
there
just
was.
said the Patriot.
Oh, you did.
I did.
Oh yeah.
And then I changed my answer to Chicken Run
That's all I heard.
because
yeah.
he was still a patriot. Let's be honest.
It's
Right.
true.
Yeah.
Yeah. My uncle got a prop from the gun because he was part of the reenactment crew.
Oh, nice.
He ended up getting Checky Carrio's rifle.
Huh.
He's the French lieutenant that's helping them towards the end.
What's your favorite movie directed by Mel? Apocalypto.
I gotta see Apocalypto because that's all I've heard is the best one. So really, all I've seen is Passion of the Christ and
Hacksaw Ridge.
yeah, Hacksaw Ridge. Man.
Overrated.
I forgot he did
Of course, he
that.
got nominated for Hacksaw Ridge for a director Oscar,
Yeah.
but
Braveheart he won.
yeah, Braveheart's great. I'd say Braveheart. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess that's it. Sorry about Air America if you watched it because you saw our title. But remember to rate, subscribe, and comment if you'd like. We're available wherever you get your podcasts, Stitcher and iTunes and Spotify. We're obviously on YouTube.
Comment your favorite Mel Gibson or Robert Downey Jr. movies.
Yeah, we'd like to
There
hear.
were incidents that occurred off the set.
Yeah,
You know, like
Wolf.
driving drunk, rants on the telephone.
don't tell us.
This will tie into the Tom Cruise thing. So
Yeah, let's see if people have forgotten about that by January 1st. All right.
Well, anyway, have a great 2021, folks.
Yeah. Happy New Year.
Yeah.
I'm sure the changing of a page on a calendar is going to change how the.
Yeah, this is our year, right?
Yeah.
As we enter a new decade, we
True.
enter a new decade. Or an old decade. We've entered an old decade as we enter a new decade.
It's finally the Roaring 20s.
There you go.
All right, we're recording.
All right. Happy New Year, everyone.
Happy New
Happy
Year.
New Year.
Godspeed. Hope you survive 2021.
Clink, 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 virtual clink. And we're done here.